When did you realize your friends weren't actually your friends? When they're only called you when they need something from you. The worst types of friends. I think everyone had that one friend. I would never hear from anyone unless they needed something. Usually when they wanted it for free. That's about where I'm at RN. I have like 2 friends that actually hum you besides my GF. The rest only talk to me if they're trying to sell me drugs or buy drugs. Not my story. But a mate's. Guy invites all his high school friends, he's known them around 10 years, around to celebrate his new house and newborn daughter. All the lads he invites drop MDMA in his lounge room and spend the night tripping without him. Not even caring that he had all this amazing stuff he wanted to celebrate. Guy walks up to the ladies, who are obviously unhappy with the situation, and tells them, "I've just realized these guys aren't my mates. They are just using this event to drop and have fun on their own." Hearing that story broke my beeping heart. How is he doing now? He's doing well. Focusing in on his work and his daughter. And mates who do drugs are no environment to raise a child around. So he's not unhappy with the loss of that friend group. Now he hangs out with my group a bit. But he's a family man. So the family comes first. Always. Me and 2 girls were walking down the street and they completely ignored me. So I was walking behind them. Then I decided to just turn around and walk back home. They didn't notice and they never asked where I went. That really hurt. Also, at another point, one of the girls came up to me and just flat out said to me, "Sometimes I don't understand why you have friends." Well, recently I've started wondering about it too. What a bitch thing to say. When I realized I was practically harassing them to hang out with me. Just gotta get some self-respect and learn to let it go undefined. Same. It was bittersweet. When I got ill. Once they realized I could no longer throw parties for them, they all left. I hope you have found friends that will stick with you. When I realized that my 2 best friends just came over to mess with me and make fun of me together. That's tough. Trios rarely work. I speak from experience. 2 times I got into trios, the other 2 ended up a lot closer while I became the outsider. Kind of feels like you lost a race because you all started at the same point. I was in a band with my closest friends. And we used to travel a lot for gigs, etc. Because it was just for fun. And we all had real jobs. Sometimes one of wouldn't be able to make it. And I noticed that whoever wasn't in the car would get ruthlessly slammed by my friends. After 3 or 4 times I worked out that if I wasn't in the car, they would prob say bad things about me. So one day I say I can't make it to the gig. And I send along a colleague from work to take my place. Next day he reported back to me that they spent the whole trip there and back hanging speep on me. And not in a fun way. They genuinely were not my friends. Never spoke to any of them again. When no one checked if I was okay when my dad died. Are you doing okay? Not really. But it is what it is. I was like a decoration on their conversations with each other. And they only talked to me to tell me things like be quiet. Or can I borrow this please? When I was in deep depression and finally opened up to my friends and they made fun of me saying I was only trying to get attention undefined. Mom got cancer and I had to come home and drop out of college to help the family. Said I might need some emotional support etc. and got ghosted the next day. Real speepty part is I helped one of them with their grandmother's cancer and brother's attempted suicide. One group of friends I had was a group of 7. During restrictions in London you were limited to groups of 6. Guess who was left out almost every time? Undefined. I came across an old mutual friend back in late 2016. We talked and caught up with our lives from a 10-year gap since we've seen each other last. Following year 17 through 18 he started turning things around and becoming a fake friend. He started asking for money at least once a month at first. Then progressed to every other week. Varying from 20. Then to 100. Then 500. Excuses were: I need it for my cell phone bill. Or I need it for a Mother's Day gift, followed by I need it for rent. Meanwhile this guy was working at McDonald's full-time at 16/hour and living with his grandparents rent-free. I decided to cut ties with this person. When I was in a fragile mental state and they thought it was funny to make me break down. And they have the nerve to leech on me a few hours before a test. I ended up leaving them to fail instead of helping. I'll offer some advice that comes from 40 years of figuring things out. 1. If they make you feel bad more often than they make you feel good, they aren't your friend. 2. If they talk about mutual friends to you, they're also slagging you off to those same people. They aren't your friend. 3. If you are constantly the butt of their jokes in front of other people, they aren't your friend. 4. If they undermine your achievements, or are only supportive when they want something, they aren't your friend. 5. If they're peeping your fiancé behind your back, they're definitely not your friend. Bit of a specialist category. That one. Wait, they FKED your fiancé? Huh? Yeah. The TLDR version is that while living with them for a short time, a close friend and his partner seduced my fiancé. It didn't take much doing, TBH, and pulled her into their swinging scene. This continued, behind my back, for 8 years after we moved out. Before I finally couldn't deny she was cheating on me and broke up with her. That's when I found out who she was cheating with. Was talking to her during class and she just says, "Why don't you have other friends?" It was terrible. Especially since this guy behind us just froze at her comment and stared at us to see what happens next. Undefined. Ifmali was extremely close to her since elementary school. And this happened in middle school in the middle of class. We were just talking normally when she just blurts this out, which is why I mentioned the guy. I think he was talking to us when she said it. And he happened to be my crush's best friend. So it was even more embarrassing that he heard this. Also, I wasn't always bothering her with my problems. In fact, I had always felt left out because it seemed like I was more her friend than she was mine. I did have other friends. But like I said, me and her were close. Also, the relationship didn't end between us. It did end though when she moved a year later. But after that I figured out the type of person she was. Also, her question didn't sound like a friendly question. Which is clearly why I am still hurt by it after all these years. When in my senior year I found myself completely and utterly alone after a difficult breakup. I was utterly alone my entire senior year too. Sorry to hear that was the case for you too. When I broke up with a girl that I had dated for less than 5 months and they all abandoned me for her, and then I found out they all were taking a trip to Colorado together and nobody even bothered to tell me. I found that out on Facebook. I was in a group of friends at uni and one of them was Swedish. This was remote friendship. We distanced. But I accidentally came across on Facebook that the Swedish guy came to visit the others. I'm unsure if I would have gone. But I would have liked to have been included. The silence confirmed that I was better off not in their lives. When they start hiding things from me. When you need help, so you start writing him a message. Then see 3 unanswered messages from you asking for his helps. and right above a conversation of you helping him out for hours on stupid speeps. When he ripped me and our other friend/flatmate off for 700, and when we confronted him about it, he took all his nice stuff and left us to get rid of his trash and never paid us our money back. So essentially we were down 700. Meaning we had to come up with that money. We had to continue paying rent etc. with one less income, and we had to pay to get rid of his crap. Beep you Vance. When I stopped initiating conversations and all communication stopped. After middle school, I realized that my friends weren't actually my friends, since they'd spent basically the entirety of it bullying me and making my life a living hell. I was so used to being abused and mistreated. I thought that was what friendship was. It's unfortunate that the leader of it all got to live a good life, and I'm just fortunate that my friends from high school who also knew this dude believed me when I told them what kind of a person he was to me. It's good that you were able to realize what was going on and got better